All Junior here. Welcome back to the Highway 35 showcase. This week, this time rather, we'll be focusing on the RoadBeasts team, which, despite being called RoadBeasts, their vehicles, or at least in the show, were designed for off-road specifically. So they worked really well in sort of foresty, jungly areas, as seen in the comic. Not so much actually on the road comparatively. Sort of. It's complicated. It's an odd one. But as you can see here, at least one of these cars is definitely recognizable. A couple of these are Hot Wheels icons, at least of the time period. I mean, one's kind of an old timer, but Celebi, such is the way of things. Starting off, we have the leader's car. This is something called Basilisk. But no, not Basilisk, Ballistic. Basilisk. I've got stuff on the brain. Yeah, but Ballistic kind of looks a little ballistic. Kind of. I'm not even sure what remotely this is based on because it doesn't look like anything you never sort of see as an actual car, really. But it has a very interesting engine piece of those vents. A very it looks very. It pops from every angle. It pops from every single angle. The back lights here, which I'm surprised actually aren't painted or anything. They're an odd shape. You got the twin exhausts at the back. Space for a number plate, even though there's not really a number plate there. But yeah, it's an interesting one. This also recently got released as a DLC in the game that I play, so that's cool. We have Zodic, which I guess is a play on the term exotic. I believe this is loosely based on a Lamborghini. Interestingly enough, this is one of the ones I've had since I was very small. I remember this specifically because I got this after leaving hospital, and I went up with my folks to a Sainsbury's, and they were like, "Hey, pick out something," and it's like, I like this one, so I remember this one very very fondly, very particularly. It's got some damage, but it's nice. But I like the sort of the horizontal two tone here. It's very nice. Everything has this sort of animal print to it in this group, which I find really interesting. It gives it that sort of, I don't know, very wild look to it. Of course, we have the twin mill in this group, and it looks really good in this art, in this color scheme. It looks absolutely phenomenal in this color scheme, and I mean, it is just iconic. There's nothing else needs to be said about the twin mill. Absolutely wonderful piece of machinery. I always pick this livery whenever I see it in any game or anything for that matter. This is, I forget what this is actually called. Oh yeah, Motocrossed. Another one that sort of they don't really make anymore. I think it was fairly new at the time period, so they kind of like slapped it in effectively as we need to add some of our newer castings into this. It definitely fits the theme of sort of off-roading vehicles, but it doesn't look great at all. Doesn't really look fantastic. This is kind of mid. I feel like they could have picked like an actual car instead of this, maybe like a Jeep or something, or maybe like a Hummer or something along those lines. Looks like a Range Rover of some description for this one, or something that's an actual motocross vehicle. Because as you've probably seen the rest of the team, this team is lacking any real cars in it. I think it's the only team that doesn't have an actual car amongst its lineup. They're all sort of fantasy models, which is really weird when you think about it, considering the amount of off-road or rally cars they could have picked for any of these. But next up we have Vulture, which, kind of looks like a land vulture, I guess. Kind of looks more like a lying down bear, but again, wonderful color scheme with the brown and the sort of that mid-orange. Looks like a sunset. But I don't know if this looks... I mean, some of these to me don't look off-roady as such. It's a little bit of a weird one. I think there's a few that kind of have the off-roady vibe, like Motocross and Ballistic. But the rest kind of just don't. Again, that's why I'm talking about like the less conjoined theming. The color schemes are definitely nice and themed. Although you've got like Motocross being silver for some reason and blue. It's just a little bit disjointed. But then we've got purple for some reason with a power rocket. Which again just is like, huh? Can you have some cohesion, please? This is the least cohesive team of the bunch. This is clearly more so like a drag racing vehicle. But the interesting thing with this is the top can be opened up. Obviously, on newer versions, this is one that still gets printed. I mean, manufactured. But newer versions do not have that function because this, again, would always fall off. Speaking of things that always fall off, we have, I think this is power pistons. And again, I'm gentle. You can take this top bit off. I think you take the back off as well, but I'm not going to do that. As I don't want to lose the pieces of this. I'll just leave it like that. Again, and this one is black with that color scheme, with that like same livery scheme. I think there's like not one car in this lineup really shares any color cohesion whatsoever. And these ones also have like silver wheels rather than like brown or any sort of other colored wheels. So they always look like the wheel color has faded, which even though it hasn't. This is probably the weakest team in my opinion. And that's a shame despite the fact, considering the fact that it has, Twin Mill in its lineup. And Vulture 2, which is one had many, many prints over the years, and Power Rocket 2 has seen many, many prints over the years. In fact, almost all of these, even the Zodic, I think, with the exception of Motocross, each one of these has had reprints and new molds, new versions, and new liveries since. And despite that accolade, they're the most forgettable of the teams. Anyway, let me know what you guys think of the RoadBeasts. I'll see you guys in the next video. And we'll be on a more positive note in the future, probably, hopefully. Things are going to get better from here. See you guys in the next one. Bye-bye for now.